welcome to Eford Garage. Now, this episode probably going to be a little triggering for some people, but that's alright. Seen a lot of keyboard warriors on the internet, so might as well address it. First thing, pretty much, trigger words. Start right here. Is it an engine or is it a motor? Well, the Oxford English Dictionary defines motor as a machine that supplies motive power for a vehicle or other device with moving parts. Similarly, the engine is a machine with moving parts that converts power into motion. Okay, so it could be said that all engines are motors, but not all motors are engines. That's why you never hear the term aircraft motor. It's only aircraft engine. Something like this, it has motor mounts. DMV, Department of Motor Vehicles, where vehicles like this, registered, licensed. General Motors Corporations, Ford Motor Company, Detroit Motor City, Motorsports, a internal combustion engine on a bicycle, well, two-wheeled vehicle, motorcycle. So, really, probably just more along the sentence and how you use it. On that motor and engine, does it really matter? Because you can really kind of use that term interchangeably. And if you want to get technical, the old Latin term for engine, which is where engineering comes from, is cleverness and intelligence or intellect, which has nothing to do with an engine like that. So someone wants to call it a motor, that's fine. Someone calls it an engine, that's fine. I don't see an issue with either one. So another term, it's the term muscle car. Can't really have the term muscle car without the GTO. The beginning of the muscle car era, the first factory production muscle car. Now, if you look at Wikipedia, well, Wikipedia says something else. If you paid attention to Wikipedia over the years, they've changed it over the years quite a bit. Whoever edited it, whatever. They can't make up their mind. But the truth is, the term muscle car was not coined until this car right here. This rebel of a car that was never supposed to exist. The mid-size Le Mans that had a heart transplant, the bigger engine. GM told Pontiac not to build it. They built it. GM told them to stop. They didn't stop. They continued production. And thus the muscle car era was born in 1964. And it pretty much continued until 1972, till the oil crisis. Now the term muscle car, well, it gets thrown all over the place, as anyone can notice. From pretty much, people call muscle cars everything. A lot of people say muscle cars are just cars that are fast. Well, the original term is from 64 to 72 in the muscle car era. And that is the mid-size car, such as the GTO, the Chevelle SS, the Ford Torino, the 442, and other cars. Now that's not to be confused with cars from the era such as the Firebird, Camaro, and Mustang, which were your pony cars. Now that triggers a lot of people because they want to say their Camaros, Mustangs, are muscle cars. They were known as pony cars back then. Firebird and Camaro were built to compete against the Mustang, what was known as the Pony Car Wars. That's just how it was. The muscle cars were the mid-size cars. Firebird, Camaro, Mustang, and others from other manufacturers were considered compact back then. Which, compared to some of today's compact, maybe not so compact, but back then they were. And, well, it's what it is. Compact were the pony cars, muscle cars were the mid-size cars, and your Impalas, Catalinas, stuff like that, those were your land yachts. And as far as a Corvette and other similar cars, those were just considered sports cars. They were not muscle cars. Now here's one I've seen trigger a lot of people. The term short-wide. Yes, a lot of people get upset by someone calling a truck with a short wheelbase and a fleet side bed a short-wide. And no, SWB does not mean short-wide bed, never has. But short-wide is an old nickname. It's been around for a long time. I remember hearing it in the late 80s, early 90s. The first truck I ever owned, I bought in 03, an 81 C10. Still have it to this day. And people would say short-wide a lot. Hey, that's a pretty decent looking short-wide. Even though back in early 2000s, those trucks were hand-me-downs, cheap, dime a dozen, and often considered just old junk trucks. But enough of that. Short-wide really is just a nickname for the fleet side bed. And I've had people try to pounce on me, jump on me on the internet, you know, the keyboard warriors. Well, what makes it so much wider than the normal one? Okay, well, considering that the fleet side was not offered until 1958, your typical bed was actually a step side. So the nickname came from the fact that most people were used to a step side bed. That was your only choice back then. The fleet side was actually wider than your standard bed back then. So it is a nickname, even though people seem to get riled up over that one. Of course, everyone gets offended today anyway, but it's just a nickname, short-wide. There's nothing wrong with using it. I use it all the time. I think it sounds better than fleet side anyway. I don't know who came up with that name, but that kind of goes along with that, you know, group mentality. I grew up around a bunch of car people. I've heard that term thrown around a lot. I still know a lot of people today, 50, 60, 70s years old, and the term short-wide, if you ask them, they've heard it for decades. Somewhere around the late 50s, early 60s, they started hearing it. It's a nickname that's been around for a very long time. Alright, the next one is patina. Now, there's nothing wrong with a good natural patina or a nice fake patina where someone's actually painted the vehicle and they used some neat techniques and made a fake patina job, which can look extremely great. The problem I have with patina, and I'm sure a lot of other people have as well, is how it is used as a selling gimmick. Now, there are some people selling true patina or the true fake patina, and then there's other people who are literally just selling rust buckets labeled as patina. And I mean, there is large pieces of body missing from rust. There is a ton of surface rust with pinholes everywhere. Well, I just put some oil on it, that's just got the patina look. No, sorry. That's a rust bucket. You're trying to sell a rust bucket for high dollar and labeling it's patina. Alright, so let's get to the next one. Big block Pontiac. No such thing, doesn't exist. Why? Because all Pontiacs have the same outer dimensions. Now you'll see people calling 326 or 350 a Pontiac, and then they'll call a 400 and a 455 a big block. It's not how that works. They're the same outer dimensions. And you can't base big block and small block off cubic inch because you have stuff like a 396 big block Chevrolet and a 400 small block Chevrolet. So that's not how that works. It's based on the outer dimensions. There's an obvious difference in a small block Chevy and a big block Chevy. 326, 455, outer dimensions. You can fool someone real easy into thinking that you have a 326 in your Pontiac when you actually have a 455. Now, inside it's a bit different, but the outer dimension is where you get big block versus small block. Pontiac only made one size block, so there is no big or small. So, you know, there it is. This little video, that's probably going to trigger a lot of people. Now, if it triggered you or not, it's up to you. But I know, making this video, I'm not going to make everybody happy. And that's not the intent, because I know it's impossible to make everybody on the internet happy. Not even going to try, not even going to attempt, because I'd be wasting my time. There it is. As always, I hope this information proved helpful to you. If not, that's fine too. And whether you liked it or not, thanks for watching.